So let's begin. These are the points which we are going to see in today's lecture. Order of an integer modulo n. We are going to see the definition of order of an integer modulo n, and then we will see some examples also. Then primitive root of an integer will be defined. We have some important results related to these two things, and then some problems will also be discussed related to these concepts. So first of all, what is the order of an integer modulo n? Let us recall Euler's theorem first, because order of an integer modulo n will be related to this theorem. So Euler's theorem we have already seen in our earlier lecture, but let's see what it is saying. It says that a to the power phi n is congruent to 1 mod n. We already know what is phi n. Phi n is the number of positive integers less than n and relatively prime to n. So a to the power phi n is congruent to 1 mod n whenever a and n are relatively prime. Whenever you are taking this power of a, that is phi n power of a, then it is congruent to 1 mod n when a and n are relatively prime. So this is Euler's theorem. Now let us see the definition of order. Let n is greater than 1 and a and n are relatively prime. The order of a mod n is the smallest positive integer k such that a to the power k is congruent to 1 mod n. So this condition a and n are relatively prime of Euler's theorem is also here. A and n are relatively prime, n is greater than 1, and the order of a mod n is the smallest positive integer k such that a to the power k is congruent to 1 mod n. Here we are saying that k is the smallest positive integer, but here we were saying that the power is phi n. Then here in the definition of order of integer modulo n, we are taking smallest positive integer, not phi n. So this is the difference. A to the power k is congruent to 1 mod n. Smallest positive integer k is called order if a to the power k is congruent to 1 modulo n. So consider the successive powers of 2 mod 7. We are taking modulo 7 here in this example. So consider 2 to the power 1. This is 2 only. So under modulo 7 that will be 2. 2 square is 4. So congruent to 4 mod 7 also. 2 cube is 8. So under modulo 7 it will be 1. Similarly 2 to the power 4 is 16. So that is congruent to 2 mod 7. 2 to the power 5 is congruent to 4 modulo 7. 2 to the power 6 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. So here 2 to the power 3 is congruent to 1 mod 7, and also 2 to the power 6 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. But here 3, this number 3 is less than this 6. That means 3 is the smallest positive integer. Before this we were not getting 1 anywhere. So 3 is the smallest positive integer such that 2 to the power 3 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. So by definition 2 has order 3 modulo 7. So this is how we are going to define order of an integer modulo n. Now let us see these important results. If two integers are congruent, then they have same order modulo n. That means if you have two congruent integers, then their order will be same. Next, whenever we talk about order of an integer modulo n, it is assumed that a and n are relatively prime. Whether it is written or not, but you should always assume that a and n are relatively prime whenever we are talking about order of an integer modulo n. Now let us see this theorem. Let the integer a have order k mod n, then a to the power h is congruent to 1 mod n if and only if k divides h. In particular, k divides phi n. So here given that a has order k mod n, and it is saying that if a has order k, then a to the power h is congruent to 1 mod n. This is h, and a has order k. We have to prove that a to the power h will give you 1 under modulo n if and only if k divides h. So let's prove this result. Suppose that k divides h, because this is if and only if result. So first let us suppose that k divides h, and we have to prove this thing. So if k divides h, then h is equal to k into something. So therefore h is equal to k into j for some integer j. Now given that a has order k modulo n, so by definition a to the power k is congruent to 1 modulo n. Now take power j both the sides, then a to the power k power j is congruent to 1 to the power j mod n. So a to the power kj and kj is h, so a to the power h is congruent to 1 mod n. See, so we get this result. Now conversely, let h be any positive integer such that a to the power h is congruent to 1. So we suppose that this thing is true and we have to prove that k divides h. So by division algorithm, there exists q and r such that h is equal to q into k plus r, where r lies between 0 to k, strictly less than k. So a to the power h will be a to the power q k plus r. So I can write it as a to the power k whole power q into a to the power r. Now by hypothesis, we know that a to the power h is congruent to 1 mod n, and this thing is also known to us, a to the power k is congruent to 1 mod n because a has order k mod n. So let us just apply both of these things here. So a to the power h is congruent to 1. So this thing is 1 and a to the power k is also 1. So 1 to the power q will be 1. That means we get from here a to the power r is congruent to 1 modulo n. So that means r should be 0. Why? Because if we take r less than k, r lies between 0 to k, 0 less than equal to r less than k. So from here we are saying that r is 0. Why we are not saying that r is less than k? Because if we take r less than k, then the fact that a has order k, and by definition of order, we know that the order is the least positive integer which satisfies the condition. So k is the least positive integer such that a to the power k is congruent to 1 mod n. That will be contradicted because that r will be less than k, but k is the least. So we cannot have any r such that r is less than k and we have this thing. So that is not possible. So if r is not less than k, that means r should be 0. So r is 0. So if r is 0, then h is equal to q into k, h is equal to q into k, and hence k divides h, because we are getting h is equal to k into q. So this implies that k divides h. So we have shown that if a has order k mod n, then a to the power h is congruent to 1 mod n if and only if k divides h. The order which we have, that is a has order k, and that k should divide this h. So this is the result, and in particular k should divide phi n also. Now computing order of an integer a modulo n. How to compute order of an integer a modulo n? Till now we have seen order of an integer modulo n. Now we are saying that how to compute order of an integer a modulo n. So how we are going to do this thing? Instead of considering all powers of a. So in this example, let us see that example. Here what we are doing, we are just starting from power 1 of 2. We were finding order of 2. So we were taking 2 to the power 1, then 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power 4. So we are doing this thing until we get 1. So, but in practical, we do not do that thing. So what is the trick? So instead of considering all powers of a, the exponent can be restricted to the divisors of phi. So you can get this thing from here, that we are saying that this a to the power h is congruent to 1 if and only if k divides h. In particular, k divides phi n. K is dividing phi n. So we can consider all the divisors of phi n. So instead of considering all the powers of a, the exponent can be restricted to the divisors of phi n. Suppose we want to find the order of 2 modulo 13. So first of all, what is phi 13? Because 13 is a prime number. So phi 13 is 12. Divisors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Therefore, the order of 2 must be one of these integers. That is, we will calculate only these powers of 2. 2 to the power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 6, and 2 to the power 12. We are not calculating 5, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We are just taking these. So we just calculate these powers of 2. 2 to the power 1 is 2, 2 to the power 2 is 4, 2 cube is 8, 2 to the power 4 is 3. All these things are under model 13. 2 to the power 6 is 12, and 2 to the power 12 is giving 1 modulo 13. So that means 2 has order 12 modulo 13. So we find order like this. So our exercise of finding order of an integer modulo n. So here it is the work is reducing. We don't have to calculate all the powers. Now let us see this theorem. If the integer a has order k mod n, then a to the power I is congruent to a to the power j mod n if and only if I is congruent to j mod k. So if this a to the power I and a to the power j, if they are congruent under mod n, then I should be congruent to j. These powers should be congruent. Then we have this result. So let's prove this. Suppose that a has order k modulo n. So this is, by the way, this is given to you. A has order k modulo n. So what does it mean? It means a to the power k is congruent to 1 modulo n. So let this left hand side holds. That is a to the power I is congruent to a to the power j mod n, where I is greater than equal to j. So this means a to the power I minus j is congruent to 1. I am dividing this thing by a to the power j, and I can do this because a and n are relatively prime. Here it is not given that a and n are relatively prime, but as we said earlier, that whenever we are talking about the order of an integer modulo n, then every time we have to suppose that a and n are relatively prime. So here also a and n are relatively prime. So that means a to the power j and n will also be relatively prime. So I can divide this congruence by a to the power j. So by dividing, we get this. And this holds only if k divides I minus j. So by previous theorem, let us see that result again. So here what we are saying, if a has order k and there is some other h such that the e to the power h is also giving us 1, then this holds if and only if the order k dividing h. Order k should divide h. K is the least. So it should divide. Now let's come back to this theorem. So a to the power I minus j is congruent to 1, but a has order k. So k should divide I minus j. So this holds only if k divides I minus j. So if k divides I minus j, that means I minus j is equal to k into something. So the I minus j is equal to k into t for some integer t. So hence I is congruent to j modulo k. So what is the mean of congruence? The two integers are congruent. I is congruent to j mod k. That means k should divide I minus j. And here we are getting that. That means I and j are congruent. Now conversely, suppose the other thing holds, that is I and j are congruent modulo k. So that means I can be written as j plus k into q for some integer q. So, and we have this a has order k, that means a to the power k is congruent to 1. So a to the power I will be a to the power j plus qk. So this thing can be written as a to the power j into a to the power k to the power q. So this is 1. So this is equal to a to the power j. So hence we are done in this theorem. So this is a corollary to this theorem. It says that if a has order k mod n, then the integers a square, a cube, a to the power k are incongruent modulo n. All these powers are incongruent. If a has order k, then a square, a cube, a to the power k, they all are incongruent modulo n. Now, order of any integral power of a. So until now we are talking about order of a mod n, but now we are saying order of integral power of a. In terms of order of a, order of a is given and you are finding order of some integral power of a. So this is an important result regarding this. So this theorem says that if the integer a has order k mod n, h is greater than 0, then a to the power h has order k upon GCD of h and k. if this is given, order of A is given, then you can find order of A to the power h, and that will be k upon GCD of h and k mod n. So we are going to prove this result. Let D is GCD of h and k. Then we may write h is equal to h1 into D and k is equal to k1 into D for some integers k1 and h1, where h1 and k1 are relatively prime. Now clearly a to the power h to the power k1 will be, because what why we are calculating this power, because we have to find order of a to the power h. So we have to calculate some power of a to the power h that will give us 1 under modulo n, and that power we will prove that is 1, this thing k upon GCD of h and k. So here let us see what is k1 power of a to the power h. So this is equal to h is equal to h1 into d, and k1 will be k upon d. So just substitute these things. This from d can be cancelled. So this is a to the power h1 into k. So this can be written as a to the power k to the power h1. And we know that a has order k, so a to the power k is 1. So a to the power h to the power k1 is congruent to 1 modulo n. So what does that mean? That means order of a to the power h divides k1. Whatever is the order of a to the power h, that should divide k1, because k1 power is giving us 1. So by that previous theorem, divide k1. Now, if a has order r modulo n, suppose a has order r modulo n, then by theorem 1, r divides k1. On the other hand, because a has order k, because it is given that a has order k modulo n, therefore the congruence a to the power hr congruent to a to the power h to the power r, this is congruent to 1 modulo n. So implies that k divides hr, because a to the power hr is giving 1, so k should divide hr. Or we can say k1 into d divides h1r. We are just substituting value of k and h from here. This k is k1d and h is h1d. So then d can be cancelled. This is k1 divides h1r. So we get k1 divides h1r. So either k1 divides h1 or k1 divides r, but k1 and h1 are relatively prime. So that means k1 should divide r. And we get r is equal to k1 is equal to k upon d is equal to k upon, what is d? D was over GCD of h and k. So r is equal to, here we were saying if a has order r, that means a has order r, so we have to find the value of r. So r is equal to k1 is equal to k upon d is equal to k upon GCD of h and k. So we have proved this result. Here order of a is given and we have found order of a to the power h in terms of order of a. So a to the power h has order k upon GCD of h and k. So this is an important result. Let's see this example. So we can easily find that order of 2 mod 13 is 12, order of 2 square modulo 13 will be 6, and order of 2 cube modulo 13 is 4. You can find this order by definition of order. Now let us just verify this thing by previous theorem. So this 6, that is order of 2 square we are finding, and order of 2 is given, order of 2 is 12. So order of 2 square will be 12, it is order of 2 upon GCD of h and k, that is GCD of 2 and 12. So 12 upon GCD of 2 and 12 will be 12 upon 2, which is 6. So similarly we can verify this also. Now what happens if A has largest order possible? So what can be the largest order possible? So by Euler's theorem, we know that a to the power phi n is congruent to 1 modulo n. And we have already seen the definition of order of a modulo n. The least order of a is the least positive integer k, such that a to the power k is congruent to 1. And By Euler's theorem, a to the power phi n is congruent to 1. That means phi n is bigger than order of A. So, and by one theorem we have proved here, let us just remind that thing here. Yes, let the integer A has order k, then a to the power h is congruent to 1 modulo n, if and only if k divides h. In particular, k divides phi n. K is dividing phi n and k is the order. That means phi n is the largest possible order. Any integer A under modulo n, it can have maximum order up to phi n. So now we are saying what happens if an integer A has this maximum order. What happens if A has the largest order possible? So then we call it a primitive root. So now the primitive root is coming. Let us see what is the definition of primitive root for primes. So A and n are relatively prime and A is of order phi n modulo n. Then A is a primitive root of the integer n. That is, A has order phi n modulo n. Then we say that A is a primitive root of n. Or we can say like this, a to the power phi n is congruent to 1 modulo n. A to the power phi n is giving us 1, but not any k which is less than phi n. Because what do we know by the definition of order? Any order is the least positive integer. So here we are saying A is of order phi n. That means phi n is the least positive integer which is giving us 1. So any k which is less than phi n, that should not give us 1 under modulo n. So primitive root is defined like this. A to the power phi n is congruent to 1 modulo n, but a to the power k is not congruent to 1 modulo n for all positive integers k less than phi n. So this is primitive root for primes. So this is primitive root for any positive integer a. So we will see both the things, prime and composite. Now this example is showing 3 is a primitive root of 7. How? That means 3 is having order phi 7 and 7 is prime, so phi 7 is 6. That means 3 has order 6. So let us see. 3 to the power 1 is 3 mod 7. 3 square is 9, which is congruent to 2 mod 7. 3 cube is 6 mod 7. 3 to the power 4 is 4 mod 7. 3 to the power 5 is congruent to 5 modulo 7. And 3 to the power 6 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. That means, and just you can notice that none of these are giving 1 modulo 7. 3 to the power 6 is first, which is giving